term bench strength traces its origin to sports, where it is used to refer to the quality and quantum of players available to substitute during a game. In the world of business, it is the availability of internal talent for an organization to be able to quickly fill certain key roles and responsibilities in the event that they require it. This requirement may not necessarily be caused by the sudden departure of high value employees. It may also be due to the planned change in roles or even brought by a new role that the organization requires as a result of growth or maturity. Even ordinary staff absence caused by maternity, paternity, or medical leaves will necessitate utilization of the bench to ensure a business as usual scenario. It is natural for founders, especially of young organizations, to be curious as to the applicability of this concept in their companies. The thought of preparing for losses of key roles may take the back seat given the kind of existential challenges that they face every day. However, it would be crucial to have adequate cover for key roles, as any loss of personnel in these roles could hamper their growth story. For mature organizations, the value of a strong bench becomes apparent due to the scale and complexity of their operations. These organizations have their own standard operating procedures and other established ways of working that would require a period of transitioning in, even after the right talent has been identified and onboarded. It becomes clear that a strong bench is an invaluable asset for a company, irrespective of its stage. This is because all businesses have key roles that cannot be left vacant without causing a significant disruption in their functioning. There's little to no margin of error when it comes to matters such as succession planning for key roles. These are instances of organizations getting these key decisions wrong and facing a plethora of unpleasant consequences. A study by Harvard Business Review estimated that the market value wiped out by badly managed CEO and C-suite transitions in the S&P 1500 is close to $1 trillion a year. The case of Microsoft stands as a great success story in highlighting the value of a company's leadership bench. In 2013, Steve Ballmer stepped down as CEO, setting into motion a search for contenders to one of the most important leadership roles in the world. This task was made even more challenging when the top names of the list, who were external candidates, could not take up the job due to various reasons. In such challenging circumstances, the board turned to Satya Nadella, who stepped off the bench and took up the challenge. We now know that this turned out to be a masterstroke, taking the company to new levels of success. This situation may not have turned out so well if Microsoft hadn't groomed internal talent and built up a capable bench. Even at levels not as high as a C-suite, the implications can be significant. There are man-hours that need to be spent on onboarding and training employees, which may be difficult to do in case onboarding happens as and when the need arises, or if the role requires the talent to be trained on a specific skill set that may be unique to an organization. Satya Nadella's example makes a compelling case for developing a robust bench capable of stepping in leadership positions when the need arises. But it is almost as crucial to ensure that there's adequate cover for the employees carrying out day-to-day operations. This provides organizations with the ability to cater to a sudden rise in demand without having to immediately source talent from the job market and face skill-related constraints due to the lack of training. In fact, in the IT services sector, there's a need to show potential clients that the firm has adequate cover to take up additional engagements at short notice. Another key benefit provided by the bench is a significant reduction in later hiring from competitors, which is usually quite expensive for the hiring firm. However, organizations like Infosys, TCS, Wipro, and other large-scale service providers must continuously monitor their utilization rates. Although a strong bench has multiple benefits, an overly elaborate one will impact the company's bottom line adversely, while also having a negative effect on overall employee morale. Identify key skill areas. This is essential to give the management a sense of what the essential key areas are, depending on both the criticality of the role and the ready availability of talent to fill the gaps. The C-suite and other leadership roles are a must-cover category. It may help to identify other such positions, which, if left vacant, would lead to significant disruptions. Moving beyond a standard mold. Right from the hiring process, there needs to be a conscious lookout for attributes that go beyond technical skills. It is important to have tests designed to gauge the softer aspects like leadership potential, intent, and adaptability, amongst others. Create clear growth pathways. A major reason for companies not being able to retain important employees is the lack of a clear growth trajectory. It is important to demonstrate a path for the bench employees to rise to the forefront of the organization so that they can remain engaged and motivated to perform when called upon to do so. Lack of internal promotion policies could leave ambitious employees in key roles feeling dissatisfied, and building a strong enough bench would remain a distant possibility. Nurture in-house talent. Regular training directed at upskilling helps develop bench strength organically by enabling employees in roles that are adjacent to the key positions to step up successfully when the situation demands them to. There is a need to create a culture of learning and development. Competency depth is the quantum of employees having a critical skill or competency identified. This would provide an idea of which roles are at most risk of being disrupted. Arranging the depth numbers and in order of the importance of the skill will provide immediate action areas for the management to bolster the bench strength. Key position volatility tracks specifically to roles that are an important part of the organization's succession planning. This is the percentage of key leadership or strategic positions that are vacated each year. Key position coverage is the percentage of critical roles that have a minimum bench strength of one employee. This shows how well the organization is covered in terms of vacation of these roles. Key position readiness highlights the effectiveness of the leadership and development programs conducted by the management. It is important to determine the level of readiness that the employee cohort is at. A clear progression in the readiness score, calculated across multiple parameters, both technical, other soft skills, across sessions, will indicate the success of the program. Talent pool age is the average wait period experienced by the talent pool in order to receive a promotion or fill a leadership position. Extended wait periods would signal a growing dissatisfaction amongst the existing pool and could lead to potential exits. Since the term originates from sports, a look at the current treatment of bench strength in the sporting world may be appropriate. The pattern across all sports is remarkably similar. The team is only as good as its bench. It is no longer a game that depends on the starting 11. Gone are the days when having a full-fledged bench was considered a luxury that only large multinationals could afford. Organizations today have the option to build a strong bench by exploring non-conventional sources. Specialized manpower service providers can be a viable alternative to maintaining a full in-house bench while also reducing any associated costs. In this fast-paced and extremely competitive business environment, where even Fortune 500 companies are not immune to loss of key leadership, it becomes all the more crucial for startups and other young organizations that are heavily reliant on certain key individuals to put in place a mechanism to cope with any eventualities. The time and effort expended will pay dividends in ensuring seamless transitions during difficult times.